Introduction. First and foremost, I would like to express my gratitude to you for purchasing, borrowing, or stealing this book and taking the time to read it. Second, if you did steal the book, please return it when you're done reading it, and we'll just say you borrowed it. And don't worry that you lied about borrowing it. Reality says it was returned, which means it was borrowed, and there's no arguing reality. Welcome to the Bullshit Machine. I've spent my life trying to figure out the anxiety and addiction that feels like it has plagued my existence on this planet. As you can imagine, this hasn't been easy. If it was, I'd have a solution and I'd be a hero with a holiday or a street in my hometown named after me, but that's not the case, nor will it be. To figure something out is to assume that it has a solution. But what if a solution is not what we're supposed to be looking for? This book has taken me through a journey of self-discovery and helped uncover perspectives about life, health, spirituality, psychology, humanity, and God that I had never seen before, and my hope is that it will help you do the same. Until an awakening I experienced a few years ago, I had been living an unconscious life in the narrative, rarely looking at how my thoughts and actions were affecting my life situations, relationships, happiness, success, connection to source, and overall environment. When I finally did stop and look, it's because I was forced to as I was hitting my rock bottom and had no place else to see. When you're forced to see who you are because rock bottom is the only place to look, clarity shows up and bullshit purges, so answers come from nowhere and everywhere. At one point in my life, a few years ago, I was drinking a lot. Like a lot. Like 25 to 30 airplane bottles of vodka per day, a lot. I was at my addicted worst in my mid-late 30s and felt like I was hurting everybody I love. I was married with a son, and the struggles of life felt so difficult and defeating. The only thing I could do most of the time was think about how I was going to hide the fact that I couldn't stand to be me around the people I love most. So, I drank, smoked cigarettes, and self-medicated as much as I could, however I could. Most of the time, I didn't even question why I was doing any of this. It pretty much felt like it was just something I thought I needed to do to survive, and that's a pretty shitty place to be. How did I get there? Well, that's what the book is partially about. The other part, the part some might feel like skipping to, try not to, is how I saw through and continue to see through the delusions that show up in my life, and learned to stop identifying myself with unconscious lies that were bringing a massive amount of anxiety into what felt like my every waking moment. When my eyes were opened, it felt like I was walking out of a really long bad dream in shock of what I had been doing to myself and the people around me. It was like being extremely confused in the middle of a movie I thought I was watching, but realized I must have not been paying very much attention because the plot twists were so extreme and detrimental to my being. Only, it was my life. We're humans. We're the smartest and best technology on the planet. But we're also hilarious, paranoid, living in fear, addicted to our stuff and our stories, codependent, and sometimes we're morons. This book is going to share, through much life experience and asking the right questions, an understanding of what is driving us to do the things we're doing, even when it is detrimental to our experience on this planet. And then you'll see the paradox, that none of it is really all that detrimental to anything, and that we as humans are just making it all up in our complex mental constructs. We're cool like that, but we need to start asking questions about what we've been making up and our reasons for doing so. Who are you? Who have you been? What have you been thinking about? Where have you been putting your attention and focus? All these things matter, and you're going to be asking yourself these types of questions while reading this book. It will be eye-opening, and you'll be the one opening your own eyes, since nobody else can do it for you. Hopefully, when you're done reading this book, you'll be able to see through the lies, the nonsense, the delusions, and the negative outcomes that, what I call the bullshit machine, likes to come up with and present as who we are. It's those things that it presents to us as our identity and keeps us living in our familiar stories and chasing after lives we don't really want. I like this paragraph. It might be the back cover. This book won't change who you are, thankfully, but it might crack the shell of many beliefs so you can challenge who you've been and change what you want, if you want, or nothing at all. Why do I call it the bullshit machine? Keep reading. There's a whole chapter dedicated to the definition. It's perfectly fine for it to remain self-explanatory until you get there. Or for now, it's a machine in our heads that makes bullshit come out of our mouths. Suggestions while reading. To get the most out of this or any book, staying present in the here and now is essential. How do you do this? Thanks for asking, and here are a few ways. The first way I'll mention is to adopt the kindergarten mentality. And what the heck is that, you might ask? Remember kindergarten? Remember when you didn't have so many opinions and beliefs about what you thought was right and wrong? That pure version of you that is eager to learn and not let subconscious beliefs get in the way of your emotional and mental progress still exists. You can tap into it right now by making the choice to do so. I'll talk more about the kindergarten mentality in the first chapter. I'll even name the first chapter the kindergarten mentality to make it easy to find. Feel free to flip ahead and check if I'm being honest. I'll wait. Next, set your setting, your environment. When you're reading or learning anything, and do your best to leave environmental and collective bullshit machine, like yours but bigger, chaos out of it. Turn off your phone, computer, maybe some family members if they have an off switch, and television. Then find a quiet place you can just be and read. To get even deeper with the material, try reading from your body. This doesn't mean that you should hold a book up to your foot or another body part. Start by putting your awareness in your heart center as you read, and then expand from there to get your whole body into it. Keeping your awareness at least partially in your body while you're reading will greatly improve your understanding of any material. Doing this is taking consciousness from the figure-outer, or the bullshit machine, that wants to change and redefine everything it sees, while bringing purpose into the present moment. So, you'll read what you're reading and feel the material, instead of filtering through so much of what the bullshit machine might be thinking about. I'm writing this book because I think we all deserve to know we're not broken, plain and simple. And I want to share what incredible information with you, because I have it and love to express it. Actually, I've always had it, and as you continue reading, you'll understand that you have always had it too, even if you've spent a great deal of your life thinking you needed to be fixed. I've realized that I've spent an awful lot of my time here on this planet drenched in pain and suffering, because I believed the opposite of the truth and that I needed to get approval from people I thought were above me, separate from my peers in connection, and fight my way through obstacle after obstacle to get to what life sold me as the goal of being comfortable. I also continue to redefine what comfortable is to me, and what goals serve me better from my own mind, instead of learning who I am from what people are telling me. I'm feeling like I'm in an amazing space to be able to write this book right now, and it has absolutely nothing to do with having any answers. It's more like asking better questions. Actually, all it takes is to start asking questions, any questions. Nevertheless, the life experiences that have brought me here, connecting knowledge from source, and allowing myself the permission to understand what our journey and life lessons can teach us, is far more valuable than any education that I have received in any classroom. And so is yours, as long as you can give yourself the permission to get out of your head and into your heart. There's also a strong chance that, as you're reading, you will be triggered by many of your beliefs being challenged. This is a good thing. In order to break my anxious and addictive ways of thinking, I had to challenge my beliefs, many of which I have since changed. Learning that a belief can be the ego's way of staying active and trying to run your life is a game changer. So many of the beliefs that have changed for me have been subconscious programming of lack, victimization, helplessness, worthlessness, abandonment, fear, pity, hopelessness, and that I'll screw up whatever I touch as soon as I touch it. If you have any of those emotions sitting in your body right now, take a you moment and breathe easy to where they are in your body for a couple of minutes and let them be there. Afterwards, begin to imagine how light you will feel when they aren't there, and how your life might look if those emotions don't control your life. Now, how does that feel? Probably scary, happy, holy shit, and relieved at the same time. Good. That's the bullshit machine getting ready to defend its position, and your inner child that's excited about being seen, which will be explained soon. I know most people read material from beginning to end, but some people like to skip around too. My recommendation that you never have to heed because you're your own person is that you read from beginning to end, because there's an unexpected but noticeable shift that happens to me in the book, and you're sure to shift right along with it as long as you're following along with the first part of the information. One complements the other, but the second half of the book gets vastly deeper, and without an understanding of the first half, it may not make as much sense. Your call, do things your way, I'm not the boss of anyone. So, here's the big question. Are you ready to take absolutely no action to awaken your body and mind and learn how to beat anxiety and addiction? I can't hear you. I said, do you want to take a massive amount of zero action and learn how to beat anxiety and addiction? Oh, wait. I can't hear you because this is a book, and you may not have my phone number to call me. If you answered me, just don't tell anyone. And if you asked, did I just read Take No Action? Then yes, you did. Never mind. I'll just assume that since you're reading, you're ready. Oh yeah, I also think I'm pretty funny, so you'll put up with my jokes if you continue to read. And away we go.